Children's museums are typically places that are dedicated to having children ages birth through 10 to 12 come into a place where they can play, discover, experience things that they typically wouldn't do in other environments. It's different from school. And sometimes people used to think that a children's museum was a place where you had children's toys on display. Children's museum is an active place. It's a place of joy, discovery, exploration, learning. Starting a children's museum, when I first began looking at sort of literature out there, I immediately went to the Association of Children's Museums. And they had a fair amount of information on their website, and then they had some publications. And so I read their publications. They had a conference that went on in Pittsburgh, I think in 2013. So both Greg Rigstead and I traveled off to Pittsburgh, not knowing much, but thinking we want to do this children's museum in St. Cloud. What do we need to learn? And it was just a treasure of information for both of us to learn about children's museums and what you need to do. Starting it felt like we can do this. We went around and we actually talked to a number of community leaders about the idea, and everybody was very positive about it that we talked to, from the mayor to the president of the university to the Chamber of Commerce. We visited to schools. We talked to lots of people, and lots of people were, yeah, that was an exciting idea. So we got a lot of sort of support for exploring that. The research that we did was really look at our community and look at some data that we had from children's museums through the Association of Children's Museums. They had a whole database that we could look into. We looked at communities that were about the same size as ours in the Midwest, and we looked at how big were the facilities, what were their budgets like, how many people a year came to visit, and what were their sources of revenue for operating the museum. So we got that kind of information, and that sort of led us to some estimates of what we needed. The other thing that I started doing right away was going to visit other children's museums and talking to people there. And over the past probably 7 years, I've visited close to 30 different children's museums in all parts of the country, and especially trying to visit all the children's museums in Minnesota. Everywhere we went to visit children's museums, people were supportive. I was always impressed with how supportive people were to us getting started and being willing to share whatever they could. The other thing that I noticed going to visit children's museums was just how much fun kids were having. You know, usually when you go to places you find parents and kids struggling with things, and children's museums seem to be more of an oasis. It's not that there isn't an occasional meltdown, but because it's a place built specially for kids, to attract kids, to entice them, to engage them in doing things, it was a place of joyful learning.
My name is Cassie Miles, the Executive Director at Great River Children's Museum. What really sets a city apart from another city is its culture. It's the experiences that you have that make memories, that remind you, oh, I had a lot of fun there, let's go back. Great River Children's Museum will be that place for so many families, a place where memories are made over and over, a place for parents to bring their kids and for grandparents to visit with their grandchildren. It's just going to be such a phenomenal addition to downtown St. Cloud, and I cannot wait to welcome families through our doors. The Central Minnesota region has seen faster job growth than any other region in Minnesota for the last few years. And while that will guide people here for a job, what's really going to inspire them to stay, to keep that talent around, is the quality of life. Great River Children's Museum will directly affect the quality of life in central Minnesota. We expect to welcome anywhere between 60 to 100,000 visitors annually through our doors. We're so excited to see all those smiling faces, but it's certainly also going to be a boost for development and an economic benefit for the entire region.
I think the thing that most excites me about the museum being open is just seeing families coming in with kids and just watching kids. Right now I have two grandchildren, one is 2.5 and one is 5.5. And I've brought both of them to children's museums, and just watching the parents and grandparents come in and have a space in St. Cloud that they can come to on a January day that is 15 below zero, and there is a warm, welcoming spot for parents to bring their kids and to be able to relax and enjoy being with their kids in a different space, and for the kids to just be in a different space and have fun and be able to joyfully explore and learn.
It's just going to be such a fun place to welcome people into, but I tell you what, I'm having fun right now. The journey, meeting people, letting all of the communities of central Minnesota reach out, share their ideas, bring their dreams to the table so that we can build a place that represents and is inclusive and is welcoming for everyone. That's what's exciting. This is going to be a project like no other, but when it comes to fruition, it's going to be a product of relationships, a product of conversations that otherwise might not have been had. And for me, that's where I'm getting the most benefit, and that's where I know central Minnesota's families are going to benefit as well.
Visit www.greatrivercm.org today to learn more and to get involved.
You want to say hi? Hi, everyone. High five. Let's build a museum.
I want to go to the museum.